Hello and good afternoon, all. Well, it's going to be afternoon in about 7 minutes for me. I have me some good news out from the Supreme Court dealing with the election, and the good guys won. The Supreme Court ruled states can remove uh, faithless electoral college voters, which really hurts the damn thing. Uh, the Dems who wants us to vote how we want, how the uh, how they want you to do, not how the people who in your state vote. So, but before I get to that, could you all hit the like button and subscribe? It will help me out in the algorithm. Now, on to the story. Supreme Court rules states can sanction or remove faithless presidential electors. Yes. The Supreme Court on Monday upheld state laws requiring the chosen for the Electoral College to back popular winner in the state's prime presidential race, a rebuke of a group of so-called faithless presidential electors in Washington, Colorado, who sued after they were sanctioned for voting contrary to pledges they took before becoming electors. And oh, damn! In a 9-0 ruling, the court said that those sanctions in Washington are fine, and in Colorado being removed and replaced by an elector are constitutional. And the cases came after a group of Democratic electors that called themselves the Hamilton electors voted for moderate Republicans instead of Hillary Clinton in 2016 in an unsuccessful effort to convince Republican electors to vote for somebody besides Trump. Among the devices states have long used to achieve their object are pledged laws designed to impress on the electors their roles as agents of others, Justice Kagan wrote in the court's opinion. That direction accords with the Constitution as well as the trust of the nation that here we the people rule. Though many voters don't realize it, when Americans cast their ballots in the presidential election, they are voting for electors who later cast the official ballots that decide the presidential election. They almost always represent the popular vote winner in their state, but at times have voted for different candidates, as the Hamilton electors did in 2016. Ultimately, it is really about reflecting the will of the voters who participated in the election. Washington Secretary of State Kim Wyman said in an interview with Fox News in a interview ahead of the all arguments in the case. And it is the state's determination of ensuring that those voters are represented in the electoral college and that the state's rights and it's the state's function. So this might how they're trying to say that you have to vote by popular vote of the country. Probably got shut down because now you have to vote how it's sounding. You have to vote how the state votes, how the people of the state votes. The money ruling does not completely bar the possibility that there could be faithless electors in the future. The court ruled that states can require their electors to vote for the popular winner, not that they must. The case Kagan wrote the opinion for is called Shivoli versus State of Washington. In that case, the judges upheld the ruling of the Washington Supreme Court in an unsigned opinion, citing the reason of Chiafola, Chiafola opinion. The judges separately overturned the Circuit Tenth Circuit Court of Appeals ruling that the state could not enforce pledge electors in a case named Colorado State versus State, Colorado Department of State versus Baca. Kagan added the Constitution text and the nation's history both support allowing a state to enforce the electoral pledge to support his party nominee and the state's voters' choice for president. Kagan cited the appointments power in Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution, which she said gives the state far-reaching authority over presidential electors absent some other constitutional constraint. Such constraints, Kagan wrote, do not exist in the Constitution. The Constitution is bare bones about the electors, he said. Articles 2 includes only the instruction to each state to appoint, in whether in whatever way it likes, as many electors as it has senators and representatives. The lawyers for the electors argued that the name of the office elector and that fact that Conscience says they vote by ballot implicitly means that the electors might have discretion once they are seated and that the state cannot sanction them for voting against their pledges, like how a state may not sanction U.S. senators for violating a campaign promise. Kagan and a unanimous Supreme Court disagreed. Suppose a person always votes in the way his spouse or pastoral union tells him to, Kagan wrote. She also cited another voting scenario like proxy voting or elections where there are only one choice. Consider an old Soviet election where a down ballot race in the country. Yet, if a person is voting both in the voting booth goes against the motion, we consider him to have voted, she wrote. Members of both parties feel that if the Supreme Court did not issue a ruling on the faithless elector issues, a close election in 2020 could see just a handful of electors move to sway the results. To imagine the issue being tied up in the middle of an actual election and forcing the Supreme Court to decide the issues where the decision could be picking the president, it would be Bush versus Gore on steroids. Harvard law professor Lansing, who argued that Hamilton elected the case before the Supreme Court. Ah, man. And I do like this. They should have went farther saying you must vote how your people go. Or take it one step farther, say you must vote how your congressional district votes. That will break up the power of New York, um, California, and shit like that. And you still have campaigning in. You can now have people campaigning in New York, Republicans campaigning in New York and California to get those red districts, and you have people in North uh, in parts of Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi for the Democrats. It'll bring more debates, more campaigning, which would be a good thing. What do you think about this? Are you happy with it? I am. And as always, everyone, be good, have fun, and stay safe. Bye bye. And also, please hit the like button and subscribe.